Welcome back to I Like Collectibles. I'm Greg Haw, and today I'm going to give you my very first top 10 list. Today we're going to count down the top 10 EC horror comic book covers of all time. If you know me, you know that I love pre-code horror. In fact, EC comics are my very favorite, so I'm pretty excited about this one. If you like my channel, please click below to like and subscribe. All right, here we go. Before I get started, let me give you a quick backstory of EC Comics. Entertaining Comics, more commonly known as EC Comics, was known for their horror, satire, crime fiction, military fiction, dark fantasy, science fiction, and mad comic books from the 1940s throughout the 1950s. One of the most notable runs they had was the Tales from the Crypt run, which would later go on to become an HBO television series, Tales from the Crypt. Initially, EC was owned by Maxwell Gaines and focused primarily on child oriented stories. After Max Gaines died in a boating accident in 1947, his son took over. Once William Gaines took over, he began to print more adult oriented stories, which were noted for their high quality and shocking endings. They were deemed socially conscious for the time. They promoted progressive themes such as racial equality. This came before the 1960 civil rights movement. In 1954 and 1955, there was censorship pressure around EC concerning their horror comic books. That prompted them to work more on their satire magazine, Mad, which is still very popular today. EC would discontinue all series except for Mad in 1956. So let's take a look at the list. Coming in at number 10, Vault of Horror number 12. Written and illustrated by Johnny Craig, this is actually the first EC horror comic, which was cross-promoted as Crypt of Terror 17. This comic is also depicted in Season 7, Episode 5 of the Tales from the Crypt series on HBO. In at number 9, Vault of Horror 15. This book was also written and illustrated by Johnny Craig and came out in 1950. It featured stories like Horror House, Terror in the Swamp, and Report from the Grave. Number 8, Crime and Suspense Stories 16. This book features art from Al Williamson, Johnny Craig, Joe Orlando, and Jack Kamen. Stories include Rendezvous, Fish and Bait, Who's Next, and Come Clean. On to number 7, On of Fear number 17. This is a classic zombie cover with very drawing colors and art. It was illustrated by Graham Ingalls in 1953. Number 6, Tales from the Crypt number 28. This is a classic buried alive cover. This issue was featured in the Tales from the Crypt TV show. You can find it on season 2, episode 10. This book was illustrated and published in 1952. Cover art by Al Feldston. Number 5, Crime and Suspense Stories 17. This is a classic, well known point blank shot to the head cover. The art was done in 1953 by Johnny Craig. Stories include Touch and Go, One for the Money, and Fired. This issue also appeared in the Tales from the Crypt HBO series in season 5, episode 6. Number 4, Tales from the Crypt 34. This 1953 Jack Davis cover featured beautiful artistry and colors. Jack does a great job telling a story with this cover. Number 3, Vault of Horror number 35. This is the much talked about Johnny Craig Christmas cover. This book is hosted by the one and only Santa Claus and debuted in the Christmas season of 1954. You can find this issue in season 4, episode 5 of the Tales from the Crypt HBO series. Number 2, Crime and Suspense Stories number 20. This 1953 Johnny Craig cover is very well known. It's a classic hanging cover and features stories like Fire Trap, The Welchers, Double Jeopardy, and Plain Murder. There you have it, the top 9 issues. Now we're finally down to number 1. Which one do you think it is? I bet you can guess. Number 1, Crime and Suspense Stories 22. This gory cover art by Johnny Craig has long been considered one of the best cover arts in American modern history. It was front and center in the Senate hearings that were trying to take down the pre-code horror industry. It pitted William Gaines against Senator Estes Kefauver, at which time the senator was contesting the artist merits against this book and many others. Here's an excerpt from the meeting where the senator was holding up Crime Suspense Stories 22. Here's your May 22nd issue. Do you think this is in good taste? Yes, sir, I do. For the cover of a horror comic, a cover in bad taste, for example, might be defined as holding the head a little higher, so that the neck can be seen dripping blood from it. You have blood coming out of her mouth. A little. In the end, this didn't sit well with the Senate committee, and they won out, and the pre-code horror industry finally did come to an end. Crime and Suspense Stories 22 went on to become one of the most recreated covers of the pre-code era. Covers include a Kiss cover, a zombie cover, a Mad Magazine recreation, a Flash cover, a Wolverine cover, and even a Disney cover. Well, what do you think of my list? How did I do? What would you change? Did I get it all right? Did I get nothing right? Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Also, please like this video and subscribe so you can see more videos like it. Until next time, have a great day.